Have you ever noticed that one of the things that women get the most advice about is to enjoy their kids? And we seem to get it when we're pregnant, when we have little kids, from older moms who are telling us, try to enjoy your child. You will be amazed at how quickly the time goes. But what exactly does that mean? And how do we do this? First, we'll talk about what enjoying motherhood looks like, and then I'll share some practical ways you can do this. First off, enjoying being a mom does not mean that you love every single moment of parenting. There are tantrums, trying to meet the constant needs of your kids, and just tough days that, let's face it, aren't enjoyable. But in the midst of all the natural demands of motherhood, we can choose to be engaged with our children as much as possible. We can make a concerted effort to stop being distracted either by social media or by expectations outside of our families that don't really matter, and be present with our kids. Living in the moment rather than just operating on autopilot leads you to take note of how special your kids really are and puts a spark of joy back in motherhood. Here are some tips to help you be present. Focus on their individuality. One of the greatest joys of motherhood is looking into the faces of our children and knowing that we're staring at a miracle. But somewhere along the way, we got used to all the to-dos of mothering instead of enjoying each child as they were uniquely designed. We take for granted that our kids are unique individuals instead of extensions of ourselves. Their failures aren't our failures, and their wins aren't our wins. It's so easy to suddenly start sliding into a parenting performance mindset when we wrap our identity up in either our children's successes or their appearance or their behavior. So study up their individuality and let it inspire you to take joy in how they were created for a special purpose, and take the pressure off of yourself to do it all. Allow your children to make mistakes, work out problems on their own, and discover the world around them. Now, kids often discover and explore the world through making messes and taking risks. Two things that we might want to avoid at all costs, but which are so necessary to their ability to grow and develop. The thought of your child getting hurt in any way is scary, I know. And for some of us, we're already thinking about having to clean up before our children even start an activity. Enjoying our kids and being present means taking a deep breath, accepting the mess, and watching the smiles on our kids' faces as they experience something new. It means focusing on now, not an hour from now when it's time to clean up. And somehow, laundry and cleaning always sorts itself out easily enough, even without us worrying about it in advance. Before I share how to combat the negativity loop that keeps you from enjoying your kids, I want to talk about simple tech-free strategies and the power of journaling. Another great way to be in the moment with your kids is to put your phone away. Our phones make us feel like we're constantly on call, almost as if the world were going to end if we didn't immediately return a text or check a notification in real time. They have us trained to focus on those things that aren't really that important or urgent, instead of on the people who are, that are actually right in front of us. I've also noticed that when my kids or even I am interrupted in the middle of using technology, our reactions are more volatile and grumpy than they would be if we weren't having to jolt ourselves out of the tech zone. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed this too. It's a good idea to set a few 30-minute blocks each day where all technology, remotes, phones, tablets, go on either a shelf or in a basket. and instead spend that time committed to taking part in whatever you are doing with your kids. And hands down, one of the best ways I've found to be present with my children is to write down good moments from our day. There's something about the act of writing that helps us to relive a moment and file it more securely in our memory banks. By planning this contemplation period each evening, during the course of the day, we will find ourselves thinking more along the lines of, I really want to remember that moment. This is something that I want to remember forever. And recognizing that at the time will actually help us to keep ourselves in the present. So grab a notepad and write down at least one sentence each night before bed about something that happened that day with your child that made you smile. Likewise, being intentional about catching your child doing something right and praising them for it will help you stay present in the moment and, by extension, enjoy him or her more. Since we are deep in that season of training and disciplining our kids while they're young, we often tend to focus on their bad behaviors and overlook the good ones. While we're so busy shaping and molding their character, it becomes easy to spot those negative traits of theirs. Unfortunately, sometimes we get caught up in a cycle of negativity where we can't seem to find anything good about them. We're always pointing out the bad stuff, and then inevitably they feel bad about themselves, so they act out more, and we don't enjoy them as much. But every now and then, if we're looking, they do something that's amazing or heartfelt or servant-like. Something which reveals that all of our training isn't in vain. So it may be a really tough week, but you can always find something to praise your kids for. And one final tip, don't overschedule. When we're short on time and energy, we tend to react poorly, even to minor situations. All those activities like ballet, Little League, and even church clubs that have us running our kids here and there throughout the week, and then racing back home to prepare meals, get baths done, etc., leave us pretty exhausted. The stress that piles up from having multiple commitments coupled with small children is not conducive to being present or to a happy home. Listen, there are hundreds of good things that our kids and our entire families could participate in. Our yes to one event, committee, or opportunity is a no to something else in reality, and it's often a no to the undistracted margin that our family needs. Give yourself permission to say no, because as a mom, you are ultimately giving your family a better yes. If this resonates, share it with a fellow mama who needs a little extra joy, and tell me in the comments, what's one good moment that you'll remember today? Thanks so much for watching, and remember, you are not just a mom.